Welcome to Point San Pablo, set on the coast of Richmond on the beautiful San Francisco Bay, California, where you can see the West and East Brother Islands and the iconic East Brother Light Station. If you are lucky enough to be a guest at their famous bed and breakfast, you first park by this beautiful cove, built on shipwrecks that the light station was created to prevent. A small piece of paradise on this calm day, for yacht and houseboat alike. While waiting for the light station keeper to pick you up, enjoy the local fauna and wildlife. Or enjoy a meal at the amazing Black Star Pirate Barbecue. You can also enjoy recreational boating or fishing. And if you look across the channel, you will see the brothers' twins, West and East Sister Islands. Or just enjoy a walk on the beach. Large raptors, such as osprey, build their nests on poles near the dock, and we can see them as we embark for East Brother Island. Today's trip, though, is not for pleasure. This little paradise needs your help, so I and Captain Desiree Hevereau, East Brother Light Station Keeper and member of the East Brother Light Station Board, now ask you to come with us and open up your heart to preserving this important, endangered landmark. Captain Hevereau expressed particular concern over the choppy water today. Choppy seas make it difficult to dock the boat on the island, and the tide must be just right. As we continue, we pass by an old whaling station. In the distance, you can see the Richmond Bay Bridge.
East Brother Light Station, East Brother Island was chosen as the location for the station, and the top of the rock was first blasted off the first week of March 1873. And everything that you see here structure-wise was completed by the first week of March 1874, 1 year.
So it's just under 150 years old.
Just under. And she looks great for her age.
The only way to get on or off the island is a raised dock with an electric pulley that lifts the boat, in this tide 10 to 14 feet above the surface of the water. The island recently lost power, which means the island is dependent on a generator that only gives it 2 hours of power maximum per day. Captain Evero was kind enough to use that generator time to get me on and off the island so I could make this video for you. Now, as we leave the dock, we get to just why I brought you here today.
We're getting ready to reopen the bed and breakfast. We've been closed the entirety of the coronavirus, and we lost power on April 1st. The submarine cable that provides power from the mainland failed. There could be a number of reasons why, but more likely is that it's a 30-year-old cable sitting in salt water. So it was at the end of its life. And we've been without power ever since, 6 weeks now.
And what happens if you're not able to replace the cable?
We can never reopen the bed and breakfast again. All the people who are just learning about us or have yet to visit California and want to do some of the interesting things that we have to offer, they'll never be able to experience the magic that we can create. And I think that's fixable. I think in this day and age, we can fix this.
How much would replacing the cable and restoring power to the island actually cost?
So the cable itself will cost $150,000, and the cost of laying it is quite a bit more. We're getting various bids. The highest bid we've gotten is $1 million. The lowest bid we've gotten is $500,000. So it's not cheap.
Okay, and is there a reason it's so expensive to lay it? Is the water particularly deep in this particular strait?
And the water is particularly rough and choppy on this strait, which of course is why there was a need for the lighthouse to begin with. So it's not an easy lay.
How are you coping?
I am living even further back in time than I thought possible. I mean, living here on its own is like living back in time, but even further back before power, you know? So there are a lot of steps in my day, a lot of steps. And I only get the luxury of things like taking a shower twice a week, washing my hair once a week.
And for light, are you using oil lamps or candles, or how are you?
I have some battery-powered LED things but it stays light out here till about 8:30. I go to sleep at.
Let me tell you about every single option that we have entertained. Splicing the cable, replacing the cable, solar, wind, wave, new generators, backup batteries, hydrogen fuel, some technology that uses radio waves through the air. We have looked at every suggestion. The load that we have here can really best be handled by a new cable. Solar could only be a small backup because we have foggy days, we have rainy days, we have days where the sun's blacked out because there's fires everywhere.
And solar just is not a huge generation.
It doesn't generate enough power for us here. And backup generators, like you're talking about, would ruin the guest experience, really, with the noise.
The beauty and tranquility of East Brother Island is not easy to describe or capture on film. It truly is a step back in time to a simpler life.
Brother Light Station Incorporated, nonprofit, 501c3 was established in 1979, and that was the year that the restoration took place. And since 1980, we've been operating as a bed and breakfast to the public. A guest night stay includes your boat ride to and from the mainland, and you're greeted with champagne and appetizers, a 4-course gourmet dinner, and a full breakfast. You also get a tour of the island and a demonstration of the fog signal, which does still operate. You can feel it shake you through your very core. Because we are a nonprofit, we give 60% to the innkeepers as their pay, and 40% goes back into the cost of maintaining the island, which is constantly in need of upkeep. The wind, the salt in the air, if it's metal it rusts out, if it's wood it turns to dust. So constantly needing. In 42 years we've put $9 million back into the island, which is great, but if you really look at it, 42 years, that's not a terrible amount. It's because we keep our prices so low. We really want to be accessible to the everyday person.
So if the bed and breakfast, which is your main source of income, closes, how would the maintenance of the island continue?
It would not. The Coast Guard could not demolish it because it is protected with its being on the National Historic Register. But there would be nothing to protect it, to keep it up. It would return to the weather and the vandals.
Why doesn't the government help?
The Coast Guard does own the cable. They came out immediately to take a look at it. They knew what a new cable would cost. Their obligation is to keep the light in the tower flashing. The aid to navigation is their responsibility. That can now be done very cost effectively by installing a solar panel on the tower so that the light is sure to, go constantly. But that leaves the rest of the island with no power, which is not their problem.
So you need anywhere between $650,000 and $1.2 million probably to lay out the cable and get power back to the island. You're asking for $150,000 to start it off for the cable itself on the GoFundMe. Do you have ideas for how to fund the rest?
Well, we're definitely hoping for a miracle. We are hoping this will go viral, really. We've seen what that can do for millions of people, millions of companies. We want to touch the hearts of people who say, I want to go there. Yes, you do want to come here. You have no idea how much you want to come here. But that can only be possible if we're still open.
And what about this island is most wonderful to you?
The life force, the energy force. I don't know how to explain that. It's literally like being inside of a snow globe. Instead of snow, there's seagulls. But there's constant life happening on this island that just fills you up with its essence. We've got ladybugs, butterflies, bees of various types, dragonflies, hummingbirds, seagulls, cormorants, ravens, osprey, sometimes vultures. There's these little black birds with red beaks. I don't know what they're called. I call them chickadees because they make a little tick, 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 tick sound. There's seals, and there's lots of beautiful bugs in the garden, lots of things growing in the garden, just life everywhere. I saw a humpback whale going towards the bridge maybe about a month ago, and some harbor porpoises.
And now, it is time to depart the island. Let us take one last glance at the San Francisco skyline before we go. The water for the return trip appears even more choppy than when we came in. Captain Heverow used her expert skill and experience to safely guide the boat back into the water for our return trip.
In your thought, what is the most important thing for people watching this to know?
To know that this is fixable. In numbers, we can fix this without having to sacrifice very much. Some clicks, some dollars. We can absolutely fix this and be here another 42 years for all of you to be able to enjoy.
Now, how does somebody help?
Okay, so our website, www.ebls.org, has a lot of information. Our Facebook page has the most. You can find our YouTube video, so subscribe to us on YouTube. The newspaper articles that have been written about us are on our Facebook page as well. Our GoFundMe link is on our Facebook page. On our website page, we have the Network for Good platform set up. That's where employers will match donations. They will not use GoFundMe, they will use Network for Good. Higher level donors prefer Network for Good. They also take a smaller percentage out of the donations. And of course they can mail in checks in the memo that just say Save EBLS to our mainland address at 117 Park Place, Richmond, California 94801.
As we return to the San Pablo Marina, we see how free life can be out here on the edges of society. For instance, on this ship, we see a bathtub on the deck. Thank you for joining me for this brief glimpse into this threatened paradise island in San Francisco Bay. Perhaps you can be a part of keeping this paradise alive for another 150 years. Please give today, even if only $1. Share this video with all of your friends and tag your favorite influencers. Together, we can help shine a light on the beautiful East Brother Light Station.